Good morning. This is the Paradise Unicorn Priestess bringing you day 91 of A Course in Miracles, the Yin translation, where we use female words. And this would be April 1st if you are starting at the beginning of the new year. And this is the beginning of chapter 12, Judgment of the Holy Spirit. And today's reading is a little long, just heads up. You have been told not to make error real, and the way to do this is very simple. If you want to believe in error, you would have to make it real, because it is not true. But truth is real in its own right, and to believe in truth, you do not have to do anything. Understand that you do not respond to anything directly, but to your interpretation of it. Your interpretation thus becomes the justification for the response. That is why analyzing the motives of others is hazardous to you. If you decide that someone is really trying to attack you, or desert you, or enslave you, you will respond as if she had actually done so, having made her error real to you. To interpret error is to give it power, and having done this, you will overlook truth. The analysis of ego motivation is very complicated, very obscuring, and never without your own ego involvement. The whole process represents a clear-cut attempt to demonstrate your own ability to understand what you perceive. This is shown by the fact that you react to your interpretations as if they were correct. You may then control your reactions behaviorally, but not emotionally. This would obviously be a split or an attack on the integrity of your mind, pitting one level within it against another. There is but one interpretation of motivation that makes any sense, and because it is the Holy Spirit's judgment, it requires no effort at all on your part. Every loving thought is true. Everything else is an appeal for healing and help, regardless of the form it takes. Can anyone be justified in responding with anger to a sister's plea for help? No response can be appropriate except the willingness to give it to her. For this and only this is what she is asking for. Offer her anything else, and you are assuming the right to attack her reality by interpreting it as you see fit. Perhaps the danger of this to your own mind is not yet fully apparent. If you believe that an appeal for help is something else, you will react to something else. Your response will therefore be inappropriate to reality as it is, but not to your perception of it. There is nothing to prevent you from recognizing all calls for help as exactly what they are, except your own imagined need to attack. It is only this that makes you willing to engage in endless battles with reality, in which you deny the reality of the need for healing by making it unreal. You would not do this except for your unwillingness to accept reality as it is, and which you therefore withhold from yourself. It is surely good advice to tell you not to judge what you do not understand. No one with a personal investment is a reliable witness, for truth to her has become what she wants it to be. If you are unwilling to perceive an appeal for help as what it is because you are unwilling to give help and to receive it. To fail to recognize a call for help is to refuse help. Would you maintain that you do not need it? Yet this is what you are maintaining when you refuse to recognize a sister's appeal, for only by answering her appeal can you be helped. Deny her your help, and you will not recognize God's answer to you. The Holy Spirit does not need your help in interpreting motivation, but you do need hers. Only appreciation is an appropriate response to your sister. Gratitude is due to her for both her loving thoughts and her appeals for help. For both are capable of bringing love into your awareness if you perceive them truly, and all your sense of strain comes from your attempts not to do just this. How simple, then, is God's plan for salvation? There is but one response to reality, for reality evokes no conflict at all. There is but one teacher of reality who understands what it is. She does not change her mind about reality because reality does not change. Although your interpretations of reality are meaningless in your divided state, hers remain consistently true. She gives them to you because they are for you. Do not attempt to help a sister in your way, for you cannot help yourself. But hear her call for the help of God, and you will recognize your own need for the mother. Your interpretations of your sister's needs are your interpretations of yours. By giving help, you are asking for it, and if you perceive but one need in yourself, you will be healed. For you will recognize God's answer as you want it to be, and if you want it in truth, it will be truly yours. Every appeal you answer in the name of Christ brings remembrance of your mother closer to your awareness. For the sake of your need, then, hear every call for help as what it is, so God can answer you. By applying the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the reaction of others more and more consistently, you will gain an increasing awareness that her criteria are equally applicable to you. For to recognize fear is not enough to escape from it, although the recognition is necessary to demonstrate the need for escape. The Holy Spirit must still translate fear into truth. If you were left with the fear, once you had recognized it, you would have taken a step away from reality, not towards it. Yet we have repeatedly emphasized the need to recognize fear and face it without disguise as a crucial step in the undoing of the ego. Consider how well the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the motives of others will serve you then. Having taught you to accept everything else as an appeal for help, she has taught you that fear itself is an appeal for help. This is what recognizing fear really means. If you do not protect it, she will reinterpret it. That is the ultimate value in learning to perceive attack as a call for love. We have already learned that fear and attack are inevitably associated. If only attack produces fear, and if you see attack as the call for help that it is, the unreality of fear must dawn on you. For fear is a call for love in unconscious recognition of what has been denied. Fear is a symptom of your own deep sense of loss. If when you perceive it in others you learn to supply the loss, the basic cause of fear is removed. Thereby you teach yourself that fear does not exist in you. The means of removing it is in yourself, and you have demonstrated this by giving it. Fear and love are the only emotions of which you are capable. One is false, for it was made out of denial, and denial depends on the belief in what is denied for its own existence. By interpreting fear correctly as a positive affirmation of the underlying belief it masks, you are undermining its perceived usefulness by rendering it useless. Defenses that do not work at all are automatically discarded. If you raise what fear conceals to clear-cut, unequivocal predominance, fear becomes meaningless. You have denied its power to conceal love, which was its only purpose. The veil that you've drawn across the face of love has disappeared. If you would look upon love, which is the world's reality, how could you do better than to recognize in every defense against it the underlying appeal for it? And how could you better learn of its reality than by answering the appeal for it by giving it? The Holy Spirit's interpretation of fear does dispel it, for the awareness of truth cannot be denied. Thus does the Holy Spirit replace fear with love and translates error into truth. And thus will you learn of her how to replace your dream of separation with the fact of unity. For the separation is only the denial of union, and correctly interpreted attests to your eternal knowledge that union is true. I really appreciate that today's reading addresses the way a person can mentally spin the wheels of thought, thinking about what other people are thinking and why they are doing what they're doing. How that is a meaningless activity and is harmful because we can't do it without getting ego involved, and we're just gonna go deeper and deeper into illusion. So we can just let that go and say, only loving thoughts are true in myself and others, and I will let the Holy Spirit interpret this for me. I can't judge it. I don't have the information. I might think I have information, but I don't. All right. Lesson 91. Miracles are seen in light. It is important to remember that miracles and vision necessarily go together. This needs repeating and frequent repeating. It is a central idea in your new thought system and the perception that it produces. The miracle is always there. Its presence is not caused by your vision. Its absence is not the result of your failure to see. It is only your awareness of miracles that is affected. You will see them in the light. You will not see them in the dark. To you, then, light is crucial. While you remain in darkness, the miracle remains unseen. Thus you are convinced it is not there. This follows from the premises from which the darkness comes. Denial of light leads to failure to perceive it. Failure to perceive light is to perceive darkness. The light is useless to you then, even though it is there. You cannot use it because its presence is unknown to you, and the seeming reality of the darkness makes the idea of light meaningless. To be told that what you do not see is there sounds like insanity. It is very difficult to become convinced that it is insanity not to see what is there and to see what is not there instead. You do not doubt that the body's eyes can see. You do not doubt the images they show you are reality. Your faith lies in the darkness, not in the light. How can this be reversed? For you it is impossible, but you are not alone in this. Your efforts, however little they may be, have strong support. Did you but realize how great this strength, your doubts would vanish. Today we will devote ourselves to the attempt to let you feel this strength. When you have felt the strength in you, which makes all miracles within your easy reach, you will not doubt. The miracles your sense of weakness hides will leap into your awareness as you feel the strength in you. 3 times today, set aside about 10 minutes for a quiet time in which you try to leave your weakness behind. This is accomplished very simply as you instruct yourself that you are not a body. Faith goes to what you want, and you instruct your mind accordingly. Your will remains your teacher, and your will has all the strength to do what it desires. You can escape the body if you choose. You can experience the strength in you. Begin the longer practice periods with this statement of true cause and effect relationships. Miracles are seen in light. The body's eyes do not perceive the light. But I am not a body. What am I? The question with which this statement ends is needed for our exercises today. What you think you are is a belief to be undone, but what you really are must be revealed to you. The belief you are a body calls for correction, being a mistake. The truth of what you are calls on the strength in you to bring to your awareness what the mistake conceals. If you are not a body, what are you? You need to be aware of what the Holy Spirit uses to replace the image of a body in your mind. You need to feel something to put your faith in as you lift it from the body. You need a real experience of something else, something more solid and more sure, more worthy of your faith and really there. If you are not a body, what are you? Ask this in honesty. And then devote several minutes to allowing your mistaken thoughts about your attributes to be corrected and their opposites to take their place. Say, for example, I am not weak but strong. I am not helpless but all-powerful. I am not limited but unlimited. I am not doubtful, but certain. I am not an illusion, but a reality. I cannot see in darkness, but in light. In the second phase of the exercise period, try to experience these truths about yourself. Concentrate particularly on the experience of strength. Remember that all sense of weakness is associated with the belief you are a body, a belief that is mistaken and deserves no faith. Try to remove your faith from it, if only for a moment. You will be accustomed to keeping faith with the more worthy in you as we go along. Relax for the rest of the practice period, confident that your efforts, however meager, are fully supported by the strength of God and all her thoughts. It is from them that your strength will come. It is through their strong support that you will feel the strength in you. They are united with you in this practice period, in which you share a purpose like their own. Theirs is the light in which you will see miracles, because their strength is yours. Their strength becomes your eyes that you may see. 5 or 6 times an hour, at reasonably regular intervals, remind yourself that miracles are seen in light. Also, be sure to meet temptation with today's idea. This form would be helpful for this special purpose. Miracles are seen in light. Let me not close my eyes because of this. It is a very important theme in A Course in Miracles that we are not a body, and it will be repeated in future lessons quite a bit. And I can't help but think of the concept of an avatar in, say, a video game, or just an image that you use in an online forum to represent yourself, or even the movie Avatar, the series of movies that is coming from that story, where humans go to an alien world and are able to place their consciousness inside of a body that was created for them to allow them to breathe the atmosphere and better interact with the people there. And A Course in Miracles says the purpose of our body, that is a holy and sacred purpose, is communication. It is reaching our sisters who are also lost as we are, and we remember together as we save one another, using the body for communication. But if you were lost in a video game, so deeply involved that you forgot all memory of being anything but the avatar, you would need to have a powerful experience of what you really are outside of that simulated space, outside of that illusory existence. Much like the very intense experience that Neo has in the movie The Matrix, waking up from what he thought was his body. But A Course in Miracles teaches us that that's not what it's really like. We don't wake up in a pod finding that we are a slave to a race of AI beings, but rather that we are the children of God and that we are all one. Anyway, happy practicing.